What's up guys, and welcome today to a very exciting video where we're going to be going over all things UI related in Rift. So I've been streaming a fair bit recently, and one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, Seatin, your UI is like totally different, it's all kind of down the bottom and to the side. So I wanted to do a quick explanation of you know, how I set up my UI, what settings I use, and what add-ons I use. Now add-ons is probably the first thing I get asked a lot about, because people assume, because my one's quite different from the default, that I've got like 50 add-ons like in World of Warcraft, but no, I've only got one add-on that I use actively on every character, which is Simple Meter, and I also use Cruel Alert on the mage, because you know, I'm still kind of getting a bit used to some of the specs, so I need that to help me. So yeah, I definitely suggest Simple Meter, because like I love numbers, I love kind of seeing how much DPS I'm doing and comparing myself to like other players of my gear level in various scenarios. Yeah, I love data and all that stuff. That's fun. So yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, which maybe most people at high-end MMO gameplay do, Simple Meter is just a really great and easy add-on for that. Now the next thing is Cruel Alert. That comes with, you can set it up for pretty much every spec in the game to help track kind of like buffs, debuffs, timers. So all of that stuff can be yeah, tracked with Cruel Alert. Just going to quickly tab to somewhere where I'm not getting whispers. Let's go to empty. Fantastic. I'll reply to that later. Don't worry, guys. I'm not just powering off everyone just for the moment. But anyway, so yeah, don't use any add-ons. Now, in regards to the UI in Rift, you can move everything around using the Edit Layout tool. I've moved pretty much everything near the bottom. So as you can see, my player portrait is there, my target portrait is there, and the target of target portrait, which is an additional option you can turn on via the settings, which we'll cover a bit later, is shown right beside it. I've then got stuff like reactive abilities, which is like your Bolt of Depravity procs, Cinderburst procs, if you're a Pyromancer or Cleric. It's used for some stuff on Rogue or Warrior, like mainly executes and exciting stuff like that. Or big notification messages in the middle. So notification messages are something that's pretty good to have quite big, because a lot of raid encounters will have like the boss has put the bomb on this player, and that will be in the notification messages, and that if that player is you, then you know it'll come up really big. You can also get another kind of separate add-on for that called King Boss Mods, but I'm the most basic player, like that'll do me fine, like I don't mess up too much. So yeah, this is kind of how it's all set up, so you can feel free to, you know, pause the video here and kind of take a, you know, screenshot and just kind of set this up as it is. Nothing's really in the top left where my lovely face is. But yeah, basically you can also fiddle about with various stuff, so you can disable certain stuff if you don't like it. So if, for example, you're like, I hate the mini-map and I never want to use it, don't know why you'd be like that, but you just disable that and it'll disappear until you re-enable it. You can also change the transparency of stuff to kind of like fade out when you're not using it, so just set the kind of inactive alpha, and that'll kind of, you know, put the map like blurry if you like it like that. Well, sorry, transparent should I say, rather than blurry. So yeah, that's kind of how you fiddle about with that stuff there. All fairly easy stuff to do. You can really customize stuff how you'd like, so it's all personal preference really. And now we're getting on to settings. So one of the most common things I get asked is, oh, let's put some buffs on quickly, is when I am attacking, the kind of log above whatever target I'm attacking looks a bit different to usual people's. So let me just do like kind of normal rotation, so you can see the kind of the spell icon and also the number next to it, which is very helpful information, and that can be done in settings. So let me go to settings, and then if you want to go to interface, and then it will be in, where is it, not display, screen messages. So you want to enable that. You can adjust the amount of seconds that information is on the screen. I quite fast at digesting it. Like 1.5 seconds is fine for me. Maybe if you're new to the game, 2.2 or 2.5 seconds might be better. You can also show ability icons. That's how you get the little icon next to your damaging spell, and show ability names, and you can abbreviate the names. Say if you're fairly new to a class or spec and really not too sure how, what abilities are called what, and you kind of want to familiarize yourself with the names as you're casting and playing that spec, that's a great idea. However, if you are AoE healing or AoE damaging, that text can get a bit messy. So I don't really suggest, showing the names at all. What else do I have here? So I have just basically stuff like, target damage, periodic damage, self-damage, pet damage. I turn a lot of the stuff off, like buffs, resources, reactive effects, just because I don't really need, to know that I've gained, 10 mana being spammed across my screen from, various buffs and stuff. That's just pretty useful, unuseful information even, and kind of clogs up it. So camera, you can turn stuff off like the camera shake. I know some bosses, when they're, casting really big AoEs, kind of shake the screen. Can be a bit annoying for people. You can turn it off. Let me move the settings down here, actually. Display, so there's a lot of stuff you can toggle on this one. I'm just trying to think which is really cool. Show buff durations is quite important. Use raid frame for parties, definitely one of my favorite things to do. It makes it so much easier to heal when you've just got your 5 people down here, which is where I have my party frames, as opposed to having everybody up here. It's so cluttered. So much better option. Let's have a look at the mouse. Look speed, you want to keep that fairly low. Status text, I have that on everything apart from target of target. Don't really need it on target of target. Don't have any chat bubbles enabled. I turn off most of the notifications just because I like chat to be quite clean. So when people are messaging me, I can actually see that they're messaging me, and that's pretty cool. Action bars, I have 3 at the bottom and 1 at the side. I don't find that you need any more than that. Except the only spec where I think that's possibly debatable is Dominator. However, I don't think many people at all play Dominator, so you don't need to worry about that. Tutorial, so if you're ever I've totally forgotten how to play the game, or you're coming back, you can reset the tutorial there, so pretty helpful. Combat, auto self-cast, definitely something to turn on, especially if you're healer. I really like it, just because if you drop target, you can just quickly chuck a heal on yourself. But yeah, it may be a bit inefficient in very rare scenarios, but I like that you don't have to target yourself to heal yourself. You can just target, nobody, and then it'll heal yourself. So that's pretty fantastic. Show target a target, again, something that I definitely suggest turning on. It's really helpful for raid bosses, just to see who they're targeting, because sometimes they'll just switch to a different player and then place a debuff on them. So if you're maybe raid leading, that rarely happens, but yeah, if certain bosses do follow anybody up apart from the tank, or there is something you do need to track, show target if target can be awesome, especially in PvP. It's just great to see who friendly people are targeting. Yeah, that's just useful information. PvP auto flag, something you can turn on. Show only my debuffs on the target. Again, this is something I really like having it on. I've probably had that on for about 2-3 years. I don't think you need to see any other people's debuffs, really. The only time where you really have a lot of support is in a raid environment. Apart from that, you can safely assume, unless you're running with a support class, that there aren't going to be any debuffs that are really important to you on the boss. And in a raid environment, you can trust that the support hopefully has them covered. Hide players' hit effects just stops bosses being kind of engulfed in this constant explosion of fireballs and stuff, so I definitely suggest hiding those. Misc, definitely enable AoE looting if that's not already on. Show collected wardrobe status, so something you can put on items. When you hover over them, it'll tell you if they're collected or not. I think that's pretty useful information most of the time. So nameplates, something quite important as well. The only 2 that I have on are target and hostile, and those come on in combat. I don't have friendly or player on, just because I don't need that information at all. It's completely worthless. If I want to check my if I want to check my status, then I've got this big little Seatin logo player status bar down here. If I'm in a raid and want to check on my parties, I have the raid or party frames down the bottom. So yeah, I don't need to see nameplates. And clicking on nameplates, at least for me, is a lot more clunky than actually just clicking on a raid frame. So yeah, those work pretty well. So let's go back to where we were. So yeah, I only have them on in combat, and I've just got stuff like disable power bar, click through. Don't have show cast bar, but that can be particularly helpful when interrupting. So that's pretty cool. Colors, you can change the color in the interface of pretty much anyone. So if you want to change like NPCs, so at the moment they're all kind of they're green. So if I wanted to, for example, change them to pink, I don't know why I'd want to change that, but some people do. It just adds a bit of variety to the game. You can do that. And then finally, names. I've just got show NPC names and show enemy player names. If you are showing friendly player names in a raid, like, you'll just get absolutely bombarded with them, and it's just really, really annoying. So yeah, I just have those two on because that's the only kind of useful information that I need to act as a player. And finally, the final thing is where my focus target is located. So my shortcut to focus is just F. And that puts it right at the top of the screen. So I only ever focus a target if I need it to be like a real priority. So for example, if it's something I need to interrupt during a boss fight, then I'll click focus, and I can just see its cast bar up there, and I can just quickly click on it and then interrupt. Or, if I have a macro for it in certain occasions, then I'll just do that. But yeah, that kind of works pretty well for me. Might not work for you, might work for you, don't know. And the final thing I think I might as well cover while we're doing this this full-length guide, really, is key bindings. So these are the key bindings that I have at the moment. A lot of my key bindings are set up to kind of work quite well with the Razer Naga mouse that I have. So you notice that I have stuff bound to like the equals, minus, and 0, just because those are really convenient buttons for me to press. And then I have F1 to F4, just because they're really easy keys. R, and then a mouse button or two. Just there. Apart from that, the other stuff is just stuff that I'll kind of occasionally click on and move about. But yeah, those work pretty well for me. Fairly basic key bindings. I mean, I'd probably suggest changing your key bindings depending on what mouse you're using. But anything kind of past, past 7, I find really hard to press on the keyboard. So anything past 7, I'm pressing on the mouse pretty much. So yeah, I just kind of keep my fingers on the top 1 to 6 and the top 4 F keys. But yeah, guys, that has been pretty much it for the user interface and settings guide. I hope you have found it fairly useful to get an insight into what kind of stuff I use. Hopefully it can help you to build your ultimate interface, and I hope that you have learned something in the guide. If you have any questions, feel free to tweet me. The link to that will be in the description below. And apart from that, if you liked it, feel free to subscribe, comment on the video. Apart from that, take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.